Welcome back everyone, Mariah Monetize here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the price of Bitcoin, and I am going to be sharing with you if I have got back into my Bitcoin position. So let's go ahead and get into it. Bitcoin sitting at just under $21,000. I haven't been spending too much time staring at the charts because in my opinion that is pointless. I think the bottom is going to come in, but I don't think it's going to be quite yet. If you've been here before, you know I'm anticipating a bottom to come in sometime in probably Q4 of this year. I also believe that it could happen in Q1 of 2023. So I'm prepared for all scenarios. Something could change for me to get back into my position tomorrow, but so far nothing has happened yet for me to make that decision. We also need to be aware that the Fed meeting is happening. The increase of interest rates is being discussed. Some people are thinking 75 basis points. Some people are thinking 100 basis points. I think we might find out sometime tomorrow or the following day. So I haven't been really reading into much predictions, but that's kind of what I'm mostly been hearing with just a few predictions that I'm aware of. So this right here is a weekly chart on Bitcoin. So I anticipated there to be some resistance here at this moving average, and we are seeing that. So it looked like Bitcoin was getting a little bit of a pump. I saw this green 2 trading above the green 1. This green moving average had a little bit of an uptick to make a move to head towards the red moving average, and like I've been talking about in previous videos, if you go back to the history of Bitcoin, you can see that anytime the green crossed over the red, almost every single time it was the right time to enter a position on Bitcoin. So it doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon. A little bit of weakness here on this current weekly candle. If we can see this green trading above the 1 has a high of 24,287. That'd be a positive sign. But let's go ahead and look at lower level time frame. So we're seeing this pullback right here after Bitcoin actually got above that moving average. It even closed several times above that moving average, okay? But we definitely have seen resistance here, which I had anticipated. So we want to see Bitcoin hold a low of this candle down here, which is about 18,900. We also see this green moving average crossing below the red on the daily. Not really the best sign, but just going to be patient here on the daily chart. Obviously, with the Fed news coming out, that could possibly play a negative role on the price of Bitcoin and stocks. As we've seen, Bitcoin has not matured in terms of doing its own thing in the markets. It has just followed S&P 500 quite closely. So this right here is a 12-hour chart. Printing this 9 right here and these 2 following candles, which is, I would have anticipated a bit of a bounce, but we're not really quite seeing that. So far we're seeing quite a bit of weakness on Bitcoin. Not much really exciting here on the 4-hour chart as we are making lower lows, and Bitcoin would have to do quite a bit. Have to get to about 22.3, sort of, if you want to call above the high of that candle right there. So this is the hourly chart right here. We have a green 2 trading above a green 1. We have, the moving averages potentially crossing over. But in this posture of these candles and these charts, I wouldn't be running to jump into Bitcoin at this point. I would want to see a clear momentum shift, which nothing in these charts would give me confidence to be getting in right now. This is a 30-minute chart. Not really giving us a ton. Let's go and take a look at the 10-minute chart on Bitcoin. Just doing a little bit of sideways trading and not a whole lot. Let's just quickly take a look at the 5-minute chart on Bitcoin, which also kind of trading sideways, not doing a ton. So if we go over to traditional markets here, obviously SPY was down today. This right here is the 5-minute chart on SPY. So it did not have a green day. And as you can see, red day on SPY, red day on Bitcoin. Let's take a quick look at marijuana stocks. Mostly red across the board. Tilray down 5% today. We saw a little bit of a bump with the talk and the news on that bill, but it wasn't able to really hold that. It was just some short-term bullish news, but that is about it there. So I want to head back over to Ethereum hourly chart to see if it's giving us any signs. So Ethereum is falling much harder today than Bitcoin has been. Ethereum, yeah, dropping significantly more percentage-wise, as we could see here. And it was actually leading the way when Bitcoin was increasing in price, and it could be leading the way in terms of this reversal on the downtrend. So I have not purchased back into my Bitcoin position. I'm still anticipating sometime towards the end of the year. This is the thing, you know, I was driving today and I had a thought and I was thinking, I think this is really the beginning of a recession. You know, the government trying to change the definition is something I've heard. I don't take the time to read into things like that I don't really matter in my opinion. I think it's just not that important of news. So I do think a recession's coming. I think we're just seeing the beginning when it comes to layoffs. I think we're going to see more layoffs, and we're going to see people selling potentially off stocks, off their crypto, just to make their house payments, right? Just to pay for food. And we're seeing a lot of layoffs in the crypto space. And there's been companies that are silently laying off people, but not being public about it. We've seen companies be public about laying off people, but there's plenty of companies that are also laying off people that haven't really said much. I've heard some information behind the scenes of companies laying off, like big hedge funds laying off 50% of employees. And obviously we hear trouble across the board when it comes to many exchanges, obviously lending platforms. If you haven't yet and you still have your funds on exchanges or lending platforms, please take them off immediately. And I would recommend a Ledger Nano. This is basically a device that you can use to store your coins. This takes it out of the hands of someone else. When you store your coins on something like a Ledger, you have full control of those coins. Obviously, when we deposited on Celsius, we did not have full control, and that's why we cannot withdraw. With the Ledger, that gives you all of the power. You hold your keys, not your coins. So I have personally not been spending a ton of time absorbing a ton of information in the space because I care about buying Bitcoin at the right time. So for me personally, how am I approaching what's going on? I'm focusing on the things that I can control. I can control where I put my buy orders. I can control making decisions based off what I see from the charts. And with the positions that I'm looking to grab, I don't need to be staring at the charts all day long. It's just a couple of times a day. Look at the charts for a few minutes to make the decisions that I need to make. So I have personally found it very beneficial during this period of time, these last couple of weeks, to just spend more time outside, doing things that bring me joy, like exercising, golf, taking long walks, and I encourage you to do the same. Obviously, it sucks. The market's down. I wouldn't expect all-time highs anytime soon. So do things that bring you joy in your life. And one thing I've really learned through all of this is that, you know, we really chase a certain amount of money and dollars, but at the end of the day, the two things that I personally really want most, and this might make you rethink things, is my health. Health is wealth, and freedom. Because when you have freedom, you feel the wealthiest. So that's all that I have for you today. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love. And if you would like to check out the Ledger and get one for yourself, I have an affiliate link down below. That is one way for you to support my channel. And if you haven't yet, please hit that like button and subscribe.